Back to life, 1 teaspoon at a time. You know, there was a time I used to wake up before the sun, stretch my arms, and feel like the whole day was mine to conquer. But somewhere along the way, maybe after 60, that feeling faded. It didn't vanish all at once. It just dimmed, like a light bulb that still works, but flickers. My name's Phil. I'm 66 years old. I live in a quiet little village in Ohio. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a guru. I'm just a man who, like many others, started asking the same quiet question. Why don't I feel like me anymore? I wasn't sick. My checkups were fine, but I didn't feel fine. I felt slow, dull, tired in a way that sleep couldn't fix, even embarrassed sometimes, like I was disappearing from my own life. Then, one evening, I stumbled upon a talk by a doctor I'd never heard of, Dr. Mohit Khera. He wasn't shouting, he wasn't selling, he was just honest. And what he said made something click deep inside me. Your body isn't broken, it's just waiting to be nourished the right way. That line stopped me cold, because for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel like a man who was too old to matter. I felt like someone who still had a choice. So I listened, and what I heard about something as simple as baking soda, yeah, the same kind sitting in my kitchen cupboard, absolutely changed the way I saw aging, health, and even manhood. No hype, no magic, just science, care, and a little daily rhythm that gave me back my spark, 1 teaspoon at a time. That's why I'm here today, not to preach, but to share what I learned, what I tried, what actually helped, in the hopes it might help you too. So if you've been feeling slower, dimmer, or just off, stay with me, because over the next hour, I'm going to walk you through everything I learned from Dr. Khera, the science, the missteps, the tiny daily shifts, and how something so small can quietly bring you back to life. Let's begin. R1. The quiet shift. Why you don't feel like yourself anymore. You ever feel like you're doing everything right, eating okay, sleeping enough, even trying to stay active, and still something just feels off? That was me. It wasn't one big moment, no fall, no diagnosis, just a slow, quiet change I couldn't explain. Waking up still tired, forgetting why I walked into a room, feeling softer, slower, like life was happening behind a fogged-up window. And here's the thing. When I tried to talk about it, most people just smiled and said, "Well, Phil, that's just getting old." But that answer never sat right with me, because deep down, I didn't feel old. I felt out of tune, like my body was playing a song I couldn't recognize anymore. Then I heard Dr. Khera say this: aging doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly, as your internal environment slowly shifts. He explained how after 60, our bodies tend to become more acidic, more inflamed, and less efficient at clearing out waste. The kidneys slow down, the blood thickens, and toxins, the kind your body used to flush out easily, start to hang around longer. That's when the spark starts to fade, not because you're lazy or broken, but because your cells are working in the wrong environment. I remember a friend of mine, Harold, 67, retired teacher, sharp as a tack. He used to say, "Phil, I miss feeling electric in the mornings." That hit me, because I did too. But it turns out, what we were missing wasn't youth, it was balance. Our bodies weren't failing, they were quietly overloaded, crying out for support. And that's the moment something shifted for me. What if aging didn't mean decline? What if it just meant we needed to learn to listen a little differently? That question brought me to one of the most surprising lessons I ever learned, about something most of us have sitting quietly in our kitchen cabinet. Yup, baking soda. And in the next part of this journey, I'm going to show you what it actually does inside your body, and why Dr. Khera calls it one of the most overlooked tools for restoring vitality after 60. Let's keep going. 2. The acid trap. How hidden acidity hijacks your energy. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt drained? Not just tired, but like your battery won't charge no matter how much you rest? That's not just getting older. That's something Dr. Khera calls the acid trap. And once I understood what he meant, a lot of things started making sense. See, your body has this amazing ability to keep things in balance, especially your pH level, which is just a fancy way of saying how acidic or alkaline your system is. When we're young and everything's working like a well-oiled machine, our pH stays in a healthy range, and our cells can breathe, move, and repair easily. But as we age and as stress, poor sleep, sugary food, processed meats, and even certain medications pile up, our internal environment becomes more acidic. Dr. Khera said it like this: "It's not the years you've lived, it's the waste your body can no longer clear. And that waste, that hidden acidity, it starts to affect everything. Your energy drops, your joints feel stiff, your skin loses glow, your mind gets foggy, your circulation slows, and your recovery time, much, much longer." I remember a woman in our church group, Marlene. She's 69. She used to be active, bright-eyed, but lately she said she felt like she was living under a weight. No new diagnosis, nothing big, just a constant heaviness. Dr. Khera would say, "That's not a lack of motivation, that's biology." Her body was likely too acidic, and the internal chemistry had shifted just enough to steal her spark. Now, this isn't something you see on a blood test or hear about in most doctor visits. It's quiet, subtle, and it's often written off as just aging. But here's the good news. Once you understand this trap, you can step out of it. And what helped me take that first step? Not a fancy supplement, not a new prescription, just a teaspoon of baking soda. But before we talk about how to use it, we need to understand what it actually does inside your body and why it's so powerful once the acid starts stacking up. That's where we're headed next. 3. The forgotten ally. What baking soda actually does inside you. Now, let's talk about this little white powder we've all had in our kitchens since forever. Baking soda. I always thought it was just for cleaning the fridge or making pancakes fluffier. Never once did I imagine it had anything to do with how I felt in my body. Until Dr. Khera broke it down for me like this. Baking soda is a natural alkalizer. It gently restores the internal balance your aging body craves. Those words hit me like a breeze on a heavy day. You see, when your body becomes too acidic, whether from stress, diet, or just plain aging, your blood thickens, your A cells slow down, and your organs don't work as smoothly. Baking soda steps in like a power reset button. Not a bulldozer, not a miracle, just a gentle nudge back toward the right chemistry. It buffers the excess acid in your bloodstream, making your body just a little more alkaline, and that tiny shift can make a huge difference. Dr. Khera explained it like this. Imagine your body's systems as a traffic system. When you're too acidic, there's congestion, blood cells clump, oxygen delivery slows, and inflammation builds. But with just the right amount of baking soda, it's like the traffic lights start working again. Blood flows freely. Cells get what they need. Inflammation calms down. Let me give you a real-life example. Raymond, a neighbor of mine, 70 years old, ex-construction worker, used to complain that he felt heavy inside. Not overweight, just weighed down. We got to talking one morning, and I shared what I'd learned. He decided to try it. Just half a teaspoon in water, 3 times a week. Nothing extreme. A week later, he showed up at church and said, "Phil, I don't know what's in that powder, but I feel like I got my engine back." That's not magic. That's chemistry. And it's what happens when we stop fighting symptoms and start restoring balance. Now listen, I'm not saying baking soda cures everything. It's not a silver bullet, but it's one of those humble, overlooked tools that works with your body, not against it. And once you give your body that internal boost, something beautiful starts to happen. Your heart blood begins to move again. And that, my friend, is where real healing begins. Because as Dr. Khera always says, circulation isn't just about life, it is life. So in the next section, we're going to dive into that deeper. What happens when your blood starts flowing better? and why that could be the turning point your body has been waiting for. Let's keep going. 4. Your blood reborn. The circulation secret. No one told you. Let me tell you something Dr. Khera said that changed the way I see my whole body. You don't have a fatigue problem, you have a circulation problem. I'll be honest, I never thought about it that way. We talk about blood like it's just there. We don't feel it moving. We take it for granted. But once it starts slowing down, oh buddy, you feel it everywhere. Cold hands and feet. Cuts that take forever to heal. That afternoon crash where you feel like someone unplugged you. Even those more private frustrations that no one wants to admit out loud. That was me. I thought it was just age, but it turns out it was blood flow. And I'd never even been told to think about that. Dr. Khera explained it like this. Good circulation means good oxygen delivery. Good oxygen means healthy brain, heart, muscles, skin, even intimacy. Makes sense, right? Your blood is how your body sends, well, life to every cell. If it's not flowing smoothly, nothing works right. And the older we get, the more likely those small blood vessels, the capillaries, start to get stiff, clogged, or inflamed. Now here's where baking soda comes back in. Used correctly, it doesn't just adjust your internal pH, it also supports nitric oxide production, which helps relax blood vessels and make them more flexible. It's like turning a rusty old garden hose into a clear stream again. I'll never forget my buddy George, 71, retired mailman. He came to breakfast one morning with gloves on. I said, "George, it's 70 degrees out." He laughed and said, "Man, my fingers just don't warm up like they used to." I told him about what I was doing. Baking soda, hydration, light stretching in the mornings. 2 weeks later, he took off the gloves. Big smile. Feels like someone turned the faucet back on, Phil. Now, I'm not saying it was just the baking soda, but I am saying this. When you give your body a reason to open up, it often does. And that renewed flow, it doesn't just warm your hands and wake up your brain, it also powers your muscles. And that's exactly what we're diving into next. Because if you've been feeling weaker lately or struggling to recover from even the smallest activity, you're not alone. And you're not broken. In the next section, I'll show you how baking soda plays a surprising role in whole muscle recovery and strength, especially for folks like us after 60. Let's move forward. 5. Restoring strength. How muscles heal after 60. You know, one of the things that snuck up on me wasn't just the tiredness. It was how long it took to bounce back. I used to mow the lawn, carry the groceries, or walk a few miles and feel fine the next day. But now, one wrong move and my legs felt like they ran a marathon. A simple walk around the block could leave me stiff for 2 days. It was frustrating, not because I needed to be young again, but because I missed feeling capable. That's when Dr. Khera said something that explained everything. It's not that your muscles are too old, it's that they're swimming in too much acid. He was talking about lactic acid, the stuff that builds up in your muscles when you move, stretch, or lift. When you're younger, your body flushes that out fast, but after 60, it lingers. It sits in your tissues like a fog, making recovery slower and soreness deeper. That's why we feel worn out after doing what used to be easy. It's not weakness, it's accumulation. Now here's where baking soda comes in again. And this part blew my mind. It turns out, baking soda is a natural buffer. It helps neutralize the lactic acid in your muscles, allowing them to recover faster and move more freely. It doesn't replace rest or exercise. It just makes those things work better. Let me tell you about James, a retired firefighter, 68, still active, still proud, but lately he told me, "Phil, I do everything right. Stretch, hydrate, eat clean, but my legs still cramp halfway through my morning walks." I shared with him what I was doing, just half a teaspoon of baking soda in water a few times a week, always on an empty stomach. He gave it a try. 4 days later, he called me. "Phil, I walked the full park loop this morning. No cramps. First time in months." It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't overnight. But it was real. You see, that's what I've learned about this age. It's not about going hard. It's about going wise. And when you treat your muscles with respect, when you support them with what they truly need, they remember. They show up for you. They heal. And that strength? It's not just about moving better. It's about confidence. The kind that shows up quietly when you know your body has your back again. But here's the twist. There's one group of muscles that gets almost no attention, yet it's deeply tied to how we feel as men, as partners, as whole human beings. Muscles connected not just to movement, but to identity. In the next part of our journey, we're going to talk about the most overlooked system in a man's body and how baking soda, once again, plays a surprising role in helping us feel whole again. Let's keep going. 6. The unspoken muscle, circulation, and male confidence. This next part isn't easy to talk about, but I promised myself and you that this would be an honest conversation. So here it goes. There's a part of getting older that hits deeper than sore knees or foggy memory. It's the quiet loss of something we rarely say out loud. Confidence. As a man, I'm talking about intimacy, about how your body responds or doesn't, how you start to feel invisible, not just to others, but to yourself. Now, I used to think this was just what happens with age. You lose your edge, your drive, your, let's say, morning motivation. But Dr. Khera showed me something different. He said, "It's not your hormones, it's your blood flow." That changed everything, because what I learned is that the same circulation issues that cause cold hands, tired legs, and brain fog also affect what he calls the penis veins. Those tiny, delicate vessels that deliver life to your most private places. And when those vessels become narrowed, inflamed, or clogged, you lose more than function. You lose identity, connection, the sense of still being a man. Walter, a good friend of mine, 72, widowed, kind, quiet, pulled me aside one day after church. He said, "Phil, I don't feel like myself down there anymore. I haven't for years." I saw the pain in his eyes. Not shame, just grief. A sense of something sacred slipping away. I shared with him what I'd learned from Dr. Khera, how baking soda, by reducing acidity, improving blood flow, and easing inflammation, might just help his body find its rhythm again. He was skeptical, but he tried. And a few weeks later, over coffee, he leaned in and said softly, "It didn't just help my performance, Phil. It gave me back my dignity." That right there, that's why I keep sharing this. Because no man should have to suffer in silence. No man should believe he's done just because his blood isn't flowing the way it used to. And the truth? Your body isn't giving up on you. It's just waiting, patiently, for you to give it what it needs to work naturally again. And baking soda, well, it's not everything, but it can be a beginning. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it safely and wisely, without overdoing it, without second-guessing, and without fear. Because just like strength, healing begins with knowing how to start small and start right. Let's go there together. Hende 7, Doing It Right. How to use baking soda safely and wisely. By now, you're probably wondering, "Okay, Phil, but how do I actually use this stuff?" Fair question, because here's the thing. Baking soda is powerful. But like anything powerful, how you use it matters. Too little, and you won't feel much. Too much, and it might backfire. Dr. Khera was very clear about this. He told me, "Respect the body's rhythms. Don't force it. Support it." So let me walk you through exactly what I, and many others, have done, step by step. The basic internal routine for most people. Just 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. How? Mix into a full glass of room temperature water. When I drink it, first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach. How often? 3 to 4 times per week. Not every day. That's it. You don't need to do more. You don't need to stack it with supplements or chase results overnight. This is about gentle restoration, not a quick fix. Common mistakes to avoid. Let me be honest with you. I made some of these early on. Mistake number 1, taking it daily without breaks. Robert, a guy from my bowling league, was so excited after day 1 he started drinking it twice a day. By the weekend, he was bloated and tired. We pulled back to 3 times a week, and he was back to normal within days. Mistake number 2, using the wrong kind of baking soda. Make sure it's pure baking soda. Labeled food grade. Not baking powder, not cleaning soda. Mistake number 3, ignoring medications or conditions. If you have high blood pressure, kidney issues, or are on sodium-restricted diets, talk to your doctor first. Natural doesn't mean risk-free. It means thoughtful. Bonus: external uses that help too. Foot soaks. 2 tablespoons in a basin of warm water before bed. Great for swelling or detox. Face rinse. A pinch mixed with water, gently applied to dull skin. Evening digestion. Some folks benefit from using it in the evening, but only if their doctor says it's okay. You see, baking soda isn't just a fix, it's a partner. A quiet way of saying, I care enough to do the small things right. And those small things, they lead to big change. In fact, Dr. Khera created something beautiful for his patients, a simple 7-day rhythm that people could follow, without stress, without confusion, and with real, noticeable benefits. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to walk you through next. The rhythm I still follow today, the one that helped me feel steady again, not perfect, but alive. Let's go. 8. The 7-Day Glow Protocol, a gentle reset for the 60-plus body. When I first started this journey, I didn't need a strict plan. What I needed was a gentle rhythm, something that wouldn't overwhelm me, but would guide me back into balance. That's what Dr. Khera gave me, and now it's what I'd like to give to you. He called it the 7-Day Glow Protocol. It's not a diet. It's not a workout plan. It's just a quiet reset, the kind your body understands without being forced. Here's how it works. Day 1, 3, 5. Alkalize and awaken. Start your morning with half teaspoon baking soda in water on an empty stomach. After 20 minutes, enjoy a light walk, even just 10 minutes outside. Focus on breathing slowly. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. You're not just helping your blood, you're telling your body, it's safe to heal. Day 2, 4, 6. Recovery and flow. No baking soda on these days. Give your system time to rest. Instead, try a foot soak in warm water with 2 tablespoons of baking soda before bed. Add a pinch of sea salt and take 15 minutes to relax your legs, joints, and nervous system. While your body rests, it detoxes. And that's where true energy comes from. Not more fuel, but better flow. Day 7. Reflection and reset. This is your check-in day. Journal how you're feeling. Any changes in energy, digestion, sleep, skin, mood. Take a slow walk in nature if you can, even just 10 minutes near trees or sunlight. This isn't about being productive. It's about being present. I remember Earl, 74, widower, a man who didn't talk much. He followed this simple rhythm for a week, and one morning, at our diner, he said, "Phil, for the first time in years, I looked forward to waking up." It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't flashy, but it was real. That's what this is about, friend. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you already are and giving your body a little help to catch up. And once you start feeling that glow again, even if just a flicker, you realize you were never too old. You were just overdue for some care. But before we close this chapter, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Something that no protocol, no powder, and no doctor can fix for you. Something deeper than biology. And it might just be the real reason so many of us stop believing we can feel good again. Let's go there, together. 9. Beyond the remedy. Reclaiming dignity and vitality. Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me 10 years ago. Healing isn't just about the body, it's about the part of you that stopped believing you were worth saving. Because here's the truth most of us won't admit. It's not just our backs that hurt. It's not just our knees that creak. It's the quiet ache of not feeling like a man anymore. We lose more than energy with age. We lose things people don't see. The comfort in our own skin, the spark in our eyes, the belief that we still matter, not just to others, but to ourselves. And over time, that silence becomes shame. We stop talking about what we've lost. We pretend we're okay. We smile through it. And deep down, we carry this weight that says, maybe I've already lived the best of my days. But that's the lie, that's the trap, and that's what Dr. Khera helped me name, face, and walk out of. He said something that hit me like a warm slap to the soul. Your dignity doesn't fade with age. It fades when you stop showing up for yourself. And I realized, maybe healing starts the moment you say, I'm still here. And I'm not done yet. Whether it's a teaspoon of baking soda, a walk under the morning sun, or the simple act of journaling your breath, you're not just treating your body. You're telling it still matters. You're saying, you old friend, this body that's carried me through storms and scars, you're still worth caring for. And when you say that, your body listens, your heart opens, and something shifts, something more powerful than any remedy. You reclaim your place in the story, not as a man winding down, but as a man rising back up. In the final part of this journey, I want to leave you with something gentle, grounding, a reflection I whisper to myself on the hard days, a reminder of where I've been and why I keep going. 10 final words, a reflection for the road ahead. If you've come this far with me, thank you, truly. It means a lot. Not because I have all the answers, but because it tells me you still believe there's more to your story. And friend, there's this moment I have every morning now. After I drink my glass of water, after I step outside and feel the air on my skin, I close my eyes and I whisper something simple. I'm not done. Not done learning, not done loving, not done living with fire in my soul and kindness in my step. Because I believe this. We don't age out of purpose. We don't expire just because the world gets noisier and our bodies get quieter. We just need to remember what we already know, that healing isn't loud, it's not fast, and it's never too late. So whether you try the baking soda routine or not, whether you follow the 7-day protocol or just one tiny step, promise me this, that you'll treat yourself like someone worth the effort, because you are. You always were. I'll be here on this little porch in my little town in Ohio, still walking, still learning, still sharing what helps. And if this message stirred something in you, even just a little, I hope you'll pass it on to your brother, to your neighbor, to that version of yourself you thought you'd lost. Because sometimes all it takes is a quiet voice, a teaspoon of hope, and someone saying, you still matter. And you do. You really, really do. Let's finish this together.